The mystery surrounding Audie Murphy has been solved, and it is not a nice one. Audie Murphy was born on June 20th, 1925 in Kingston, Texas. His full name at birth was Audie Leon Murphy. The seventh of EMTT and Josie Bell's 12 children, Murphy was the seventh of their children. In the midst of the Great Depression, the Murphy family, who were engaged in sharecropping, were struggling to make ends meet. His mother passed away when he was just 16 years old, and his father left the home when he was still a young lad. Audie was left motherless. Due to the fact that he was an orphan and had only completed the 5th grade, Murphy was compelled to stop attending school and work a variety of odd jobs in order to provide for his younger siblings. His character was formed by the challenges he faced during his formative years, which instilled in him a feeling of responsibility, tenacity, and toughness that would come to define his later life. After being turned down by the Navy and Marine Corps due to his lack of height and weight, Murphy enlisted in the United States Army in the year 1942 following his rejection. With a height of only 5 feet and 5 inches and a weight of slightly more than 110 pounds, he was an improbable contender for glory on the battlefield. His physical stature, on the other hand, belied his extraordinary bravery and extraordinary leadership. In the course of World War II, Murphy distinguished himself by serving in a variety of campaigns across the continents of North Africa, Italy, France, and Germany. He rapidly became known for his bravery, tactical brilliance, and strong loyalty to his fellow soldiers. He achieved this reputation very quickly. On the 26th of January, 1945, Murphy, despite being injured and outgunned, managed to hold off an entire company of German troops for more than an hour. This occurred in the vicinity of Holzera, which is located in France. After climbing aboard a tank destroyer that was on fire, he used the machine gun on the tank destroyer, which had a .50 caliber barrel, to annihilate enemy soldiers while simultaneously calling in artillery strikes. When he was only 19 years old, he was awarded the Medal of Honor, which is the highest military honor in the United States, for this incredible act of bravery. The Distinguished Service Cross, 2 Silver Stars, the Bronze Star, and 3 Purple Hearts were among the most prestigious military honors that Murphy had been awarded by the United States of America for his bravery in combat by the time the war came to a close. His post-war hardships and career in Hollywood led to him being the most decorated American soldier of World War II. He got a total of 33 awards and decorations from the United States of America and the nations that were under his command during the war. Murphy was a national hero when he returned home, but he struggled terribly with the psychological scars that war had left on him. It was then known as combat fatigue, but it is today known as post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. He suffered from this condition. Even though he was going through these internal struggles, he made use of his prominence to bring attention to the problems that veterans face and the importance of providing help for mental health. He was one of the first public individuals to speak openly about the emotional toll that conflict takes on you. Subsequently, Murphy made the switch to a career in Hollywood, where he achieved prominence as an actor. To Hell and Back, a biographical war picture that was released in 1955 and was based on his own memoir of the same name, was the film in which he starred. He appeared in more than 40 films. In a remarkable and impactful performance, Murphy portrayed himself, recreating his experiences throughout the war on the big screen. Both his status as a military hero and his status as a movie star were solidified as a result of the film's success at the box office. Despite the fact that he frequently appeared in westerns and war dramas, Murphy never considered himself to be a particularly talented actor. His approach to acting was marked by the same humility that he had displayed throughout his entire life. He also dabbled in songwriting, composing a number of country and western songs, some of which were recorded by some of the most prominent musicians of the day, such as Dean Martin and Charlie Pride. Alongside the renowned actors James Stewart and Dan Durrier, the emerging star Murphy was cast in the iconic Western Night Passage in 1957. he played the character of the Utica Boy, which is considered to be one of the most memorable roles in the film's history. This movie was a significant turning point in Murphy's career since it demonstrated his capacity to compete with some of the most well-known actors in Hollywood and further solidified his position in the popular Western genre, which was capturing the attention of moviegoers at the time. Murphy experienced a period of time that was both extraordinarily productive and formative, and that year was 1959. Moviegoers were blown away by his performance in not one, but three distinct westerns, each of which highlighted a different element of his versatility as an actor. Murphy starred in the film The Wild and the Innocent, alongside the attractive Sandra Dee, and the on-screen chemistry between the two of them breathed new life into the story being told about the encounter between innocence and the environment. Murphy, in addition to his acting, worked behind the scenes as an uncredited co-producer on the stark black-and-white drama Cast a Long Shadow. He collaborated with the well-known Walter Mirisch, a relationship that displayed his ability to work in tandem with Mirisch. Beyond the realm of performing, Hollywood is experiencing a growing influence. However, it was Murphy's portrayal of a hired murderer in the film Noah May on the Bullet, which was a picture that was both instructive and intriguing, that garnered the most attention from critics. It was hailed for its atmospheric storytelling and Murphy's highly layered performance, which helped improve his status as a versatile and captivating leading man in the Western canon. The movie gained universal acclaim, and it was praised particularly for its atmospheric storytelling. The abilities that Murphy possessed were not limited to the realm of the big screen. It was in 1960 when he starred with the great Thelma Ritter in an episode of Star Time titled The Man, which was another way in which he held the attention of television viewers. The ease and charisma that Murphy possesses in the burgeoning medium of television was on full display during this performance, which increased his appeal to an even more extensive audience. Murphy's sense of civic duty and patriotism shined through. In the early 1960s, when he contributed his time, talent, and star power to assist the United States Army's The Big Picture television series. This was in addition to his acting endeavors, which he pursued. During the course of 3 episodes, he not only made an appearance, but he also acted as a reliable representative of the military's efforts to engage with the general people. During the year 1960, he was honored for his unwavering commitment by being presented with the prestigious Outstanding Civilian Service Medal. Broken Bridge was the episode that stood out as the most memorable. In this episode, Murphy traveled to military locations in Germany, Italy, Turkey, and the American Southwest in New Mexico. He displayed cutting-edge military equipment and weaponry, so combining entertainment with real-world significance. It was during this time period that Murphy's creative partnerships flourished, particularly with the writer Claire Huffer, who was responsible for writing the screenplays for 2 of Murphy's most important films, 7 Ways from Sundown and Posey from Hell, which were both released in 1961. Through his work on these movies, Murphy was able to solidify his position as a prominent figure in Western filmmaking. He collaborated with skilled storytellers who developed plots that were well-suited to his style, which was gruff yet nuanced. Willard W. Willingham and his wife, Mary Willingham, who were close friends with Murphy during his early days in Hollywood, were another crucial relationship that Murphy had. The strong professional synergy that they shared was demonstrated through the series of projects that they worked on together. In addition to producing the television series Whispering Smith, which was produced by Murphy in 1961, Willard also co-wrote the screenplay for Battle at Bloody Beach, which was also produced in 1961. The screenplay combined realistic storytelling with exciting action. Both Bullet for a Bad Man, 1964, and Arizona Raiders, 1965, were the products of their ongoing collaboration during the middle of the 1960s. 2 movies that contributed to the further development of Murphy's legacy in the Western genre. During the year 1967, the Willinghams collaborated to write the screenplay for Gunpoint as well as the script for 40 Guns to Apache Pass, which would be Murphy's last starring role in a Western film. Both of these projects were completed collectively. Murphy's willingness to take on different and demanding parts outside of standard American settings was demonstrated by the fact that he filmed Trunk to Cairo in Israel in 1966. This was an accomplishment that allowed him to broaden his horizons internationally. Murphy's connection with director Bud Bodicher, which began in an unexpected place, a boxing gym, was one of the most significant connections in his career since it was the beginning of their relationship. During his time at Terry Hunt's athletic club, Murphy had expressed interest in being Bodker's boxing partner, an encounter that led to the formation of a creative relationship that has lasted for almost 20 years. These circumstances resulted in Murphy playing the lead part in Barracour's debut Western, The Cimarron Kid, which was released in 1951. This film would serve as a foundation for future collaborations between the two actors. In 1969, Bitker developed the script for A Time for Dying, which would be Murphy's final feature. This film would serve as a tragic capstone to their lengthy working partnership. Their alliance persevered, and it was in 1969 that they wrote the script. Although they had intended to work together on two further projects, namely When There's Something to Do in Eors for Mr. Barnum, they ultimately decided against doing so. These films were never produced, which leaves viewers wondering what might have been if the two individuals had completed their creative path. Unfortunately, these films were never made. The challenges that Audie Murphy encountered away from the battlefield were reflected in his personal life, which was one that was filled with both happiness and turmoil. His marriage to the actress Wanda Hendress took place in the year 1949 through her roles in a number of films that were released in the 1940s and early 1950s. Wanda became a well-known character in the Hollywood industry. It was partially due to Murphy's rising popularity as one of the most decorated American combat warriors of World War II, and partly due to Wanda's Hollywood career being on the upswing, that their marriage garnered a significant amount of attention from the media. The union between them was plagued with difficulties, despite the fact that they were a prominent couple. Their marriage became increasingly strained over time as a result of the pressures of Hollywood life, Murphy's persistent issues with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, which he developed as a result of his experiences during the war, and the inherent difficulties that come with maintaining a public relationship. 51 was the year that they legally divorced, after a period of 2 years, during which they attempted to make their relationship work. The conclusion of this chapter, which had been both a romantic attempt and a public spectacle, was marked by this occasion. Remarkably, Murphy remarried only 4 days after the divorce from Wanda Hendricks was finalized without any further complications. Pamela Opal. Lee Archer, a former aircraft steward who possessed a calm attitude and a grounded personality, was Murphy's second wife. Her calm demeanor and grounded nature provided a dramatic contrast to the glitter and excitement that Murphy experienced during his previous marriage. Pamela and Audie's relationship evolved rapidly, and the fact that they chose to get married so soon after his divorce highlighted both the haste and the intensity with which Murphy desired stability and family life in the midst of the chaos that was his personal troubles. Murphy was in desperate need of a feeling of normalcy and support in his life, and Pamela provided him with both of those things. While working together, Audie Murphy and Pamela Opal Lee Archer established a family that would later prove to be an essential component of Murphy's life. They were blessed with 2 kids, namely James Shannon and Terry Michael. Having been born in 1952, Terry Michael Murphy would go on to become well known for his own work in the entertainment sector, so continuing the Murphy family's link to the Hollywood entertainment industry. Their second son, James Shannon Murphy, was born a few years later, and likewise grew up with the memory of his father's incredible life shadowing his own. James Shannon Murphy was also part of the Murphy family. These 2 sons were brought up with an understanding of their father's amazing accomplishments as well as the difficulties that came along with those accomplishments. The marriage that Audie and Pamela shared lasted for a far longer period of time than his previous marriage, which resulted in a larger degree of personal contentment and support from his family. In addition to her job as a wife, Pamela had a significant role in Murphy's life. Through her role as a confidant, she assisted him in navigating the frequently overwhelming demands that come with fame, trauma, and the expectations of the public. The presence of Audie's family continued to be a calming influence, despite the numerous difficulties he encountered, such as persistent pain and emotional wounds resulting from the war. Murphy experienced a sense of tranquility and normalcy as a result of the presence of his sons and the relative stability of his marriage to Pamela. This was a big contrast to the early years of his life. Audie Murphy was a prominent Hollywood actor and one of the most honored World War II heroes in the United States. For decades, the circumstances surrounding his death have been clouded in mystery, speculation, and questions that have not been answered. People are familiar with the story of Murphy's life, which begins with him as a poor farm child in Texas and ends with him being a military hero whose bravery became legendary. Nevertheless, the actual events that transpired on the day that he passed away have, for a very long time, remained a puzzling riddle that has kept his followers, his family, and historians alike yearning for clarity. Recent developments in the investigation have led to the discovery of fresh evidence and breakthroughs, which have ultimately provided a conclusive answer. But unfortunately, the reality is much more sinister and unsettling than anyone had thought it would be. A simple account of Audie Murphy's passing was provided by the authorities for a number of years. The catastrophic plane crash that took Murphy's life occurred on May 28, 1971, in Brush Mountain, which is located close to Catawba, Virginia. A small twin-engine Aero Commander, which was the private plane he was riding in, crashed into the ground in adverse weather conditions when it was flying low over mountainous territory. According to the official reports, the disaster was caused by a pilot error as well as inadequate visibility. It was a tragic accident that took the life of a national hero when he was just 45 years old. Murphy's troubled personal life, his struggles with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, as a result of the war, and speculations about mysterious forces who may have wanted him to be quiet, all contributed to the rapid emergence of rumors and suspicions during this time. There was a proliferation of conspiracy ideas over the years. As a result of Murphy's purported knowledge of secret material during his time in Hollywood and his relationships with government officials, some people have asserted that the disaster was organized by intelligence agencies. There were also many who speculated that it was a kind of retaliation from adversaries who were connected to Murphy's private business affairs or that he had become the target of organized crime. These ideas gained hold due to the fact that a number of important circumstances regarding the catastrophe were never comprehensively explained. Inconsistencies in pilot testimony, the strange absence of several important wreckage pieces at the crash scene, and the reasons why the jet flew so low into perilous terrain are all things that need to be investigated. For a number of decades, these lingering uncertainties were never resolved. The members of the family vehemently refuted any allegation of foul play, steadfastly adhering to the story that the death was the result of an unfortunate accident. The lack of tangible evidence, on the other hand, made it seem as though the truth was tantalizingly unavailable. Many people are left wondering whether the life of the war hero ended not just in tragedy, but in something much more sinister, as a result of the mystery that put a shadow over Murphy's legacy. In a recent study, a group of independent investigators, inspired by recent developments in forensic technology and the availability of declassified government papers, conducted a comprehensive re-examination of the incident. They did this by analyzing wreckage fragments, flight data, and weather forecasts using contemporary technologies that were not accessible around the time of the crash. They found troubling new evidence that suggests that the incident was not an accident, but rather the result of deliberate harm. The investigators found evidence that the control systems of the aircraft had been tampered with, for example, wires that had been severed or rerouted in a manner that was compatible with sabotage. It has also come to light that fresh interviews with witnesses who had been silent in the past and retired authorities have been conducted, which suggests that Murphy was being monitored in the months leading up to the accident. Whistleblower who opted to come out after decades of silence disclosed that Murphy had stumbled upon critical knowledge regarding clandestine government operations, which made him a liability to certain powerful parties. This information was released by the whistleblower. The evidence of this whistleblower revealed a terrifying picture of a cover-up that was aimed to make Murphy's death appear to be a terrible accident while simultaneously silencing him permanently. The repercussions of these findings are extremely frightening and disconcerting. The forces that were determined to eradicate Audie Murphy appear to have betrayed him during times of peace, despite the fact that he was lauded for his bravery on the battlefield. The mystery, which was originally idealized as a tragic accident, now shows a harsh reality, one that is characterized by conspiracy, betrayal, and intentional brutality. The memory of Murphy's final moments is tainted by this grim truth, which replaces the picture of a hero who was lost to fate with the image of a man who was entangled in a web of political intrigue and potentially dangerous situations. In addition, the effect that it has had on Murphy's family has been significant. For a number of years, they struggled with sadness and questions that remained unanswered. Now that they are aware of the fact that there was foul play involved, they are asking that a comprehensive public investigation be conducted and that justice be served for the individual who put everything on the line for his nation, only for the opposite to occur in return. Historians and military specialists alike are examining Murphy's legacy, and they are struggling to determine how this new understanding fits into the larger context of America during the Cold War, Hollywood's ties to government organizations, and the frequently concealed dangers that famous personalities face when they cross certain borders. The conclusion to the mystery surrounding Audie Murphy does not bring about a sense of resolution and tranquility. Rather, it raises a Pandora's box of unsettling concerns concerning trust, power, and betrayal. What was formerly considered to be a tragic but uncomplicated accident has now been revealed as a sobering warning that even heroes can occasionally become victims of evil that extends far beyond the battlefield. The uncomfortable reality that has now come to light casts a long shadow over his heroic reputation, and it is most certainly not a good one. The full tale of Audie Murphy's death may never be completely known, but the truth that has finally come to light looms over his legacy.